remember the great Ernie Banks.
Baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and it's a special day at Kauffman Stadium every year when we salute the Negro Leagues and the great Kansas City institution, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. The Royals will be wearing the uniforms of the Kansas City Monarchs today as they wrap up a 3-game series with the New York Yankees. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre, dressed to the nines. In addition to saluting the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, you know, this is a special day all throughout baseball. Many teams honor the Negro Leagues, but it is very special in Kansas City.
Without a doubt, Rhino, it's so great to live in such a baseball-rich community like this. And with a museum just down the road here in Kansas City, it's there for all to remember. And what a day.
And with the Royals playing the Yankees today, our AT&T Uverse Rewind, the Kansas City Monarchs were the Yankees of their time. They played in both the Negro League National and American Leagues and 2 World Series titles. Man, but look at all the pennants that they had.
They had some players. I mean, some of the world's greatest. I mean, you see pictures there with Jackie Robinson and, of course, all the greats that have come through here. Cool Papa Bell. It's really exciting to see the numbers and to celebrate their day today.
And especially honoring Ernie Banks today, who passed away in January. He played parts of 4 seasons with the Monarchs. The first pitch is coming up. In the spirit of things today, as we salute the Negro Leagues, it's also dressed to the nines. And a lot of great throwback outfits. And the players today will have the throwback uniforms. At least the Royals will. The Yankees elected not to participate in wearing Negro League uniforms today. And it seems like every time we have a salute to the Negro Leagues, there is a brand new version of the KC Monarchs. This is from the 1950s. And of course, Buck O'Neil, every time we had him on, and Bob Kendrick, the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, he'll be joining us later today, always talks about how good the Negro Leagues players had it. Sure, they weren't allowed to play in the big leagues until 1947, but they lived a good life, and boy, they had some good looking uniforms. And now the Royals are taking the field, as they do every Sunday, with some young fans. So those kids are having the thrill of a lifetime.
Oh, it's one of the greatest days of their lives. They'll never forget this, especially their parents in the stands taking pictures. You know, what a wonderful opportunity. Plus, they all have a ball. They sign them, give it to them. You know, I always used to love to give them a wristband or something from the field of action where they'll never forget it. Wonderful opportunity to share.
When you talk about the history of Kansas City, and especially from a cultural standpoint, there's a lot of reference to 18th and Vine and the great jazz history in Kansas City. And near 18th and Vine now, not only the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, but the American Jazz Museum, and that seemed to be a great connection. Buck O'Neil and other Negro League players used to always talk about playing in Kansas City and taking part in the great jazz scene. And so there was a brunch before the game today, and they had some live jazz music to further get people in the spirit of things today. And that's how we're going to begin today's game. We're going to hear from Kenny Glover, who's going to give us his saxophone version of our Star Spangled Banner on this important day in Kansas City.
Your hats, place your right hand over your heart, or render a salute if you're a veteran of the United States military, as we pay respect to our flag and country and honor America with a performance of our national anthem by saxophonist of the BMW Band, Kenny Glover.
Kenny Glover with our national anthem. The first pitch between the Royals and the Yankees is coming up next. High-speed internet. The U-verse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Visit your Chevy dealer today for great prices on all the new 2015 vehicles. And by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. From the black and white team photo of the Kansas City Monarchs is Jackie Robinson to the high definition color inside Kauffman Stadium. And who better in high definition than Joel Goldberg with that hat and that bow tie. Look at you.
Hey, you got to do it on this day. And Edinson Volquez, he's looking to do it on the mound, trying to still bounce back from that blister. No excuses from him, but his pitching coach says not exactly easy for a pitcher with a blister on the thumb.
I mean, it's right on the inside of his thumb there, and that's where the ball sits in his hand, especially on his fastball and his sinker. And when he throws the ball, the laces come right off of that spot. That's what it is. It's a lot of friction right off the top of that blister, and the thing's still not healed completely.
But getting better. 6 walks when he had that blister, 3 last time going 5 innings, and he'll look to improve on that here against these Yankees, Ryan, this afternoon.
Joel, thank you. Here's the Yankees lineup today, and they had just 1 run, 5 hits in game 1, but resembled the Bronx Bombers last night with 2 home runs to take game 2 5-1 as we go in the driver's seat, presented by Kia. And the numbers for Edinson Volquez still holding opponents to a .206 batting average. He's only allowed 2 home runs.
That's right. They've both been to left-handed batters. But you know, righties just .229 with no homers. He's got a great pitch that goes away to lefties that neutralizes them. That 2-seam fastball there and his changeup that moves away from the lefties. But Volquez, 3 good pitches though. The basic fastball, curveball, changeup.
One and one to Jacoby Ellsbury, and that'll be an interesting thing to watch because you figure you're facing a right-hander like Volquez. You just load your lineup up with left-hand batters, and Joe Girardi, 8 of his 9 hitters, which includes the switch hitters, will bat left-handed against Volquez, but who knows, maybe he's playing right into Volquez's hands.
Very well could. You know, Volquez, he's been really good at the K. In 4 starts, he's 2-1 with a .263. Opponents only hitting .186 here at Kauffman Stadium.
Good start with a high pop up into shallow left, and that's Gerard Dyson coming up behind Alcides Escobar. Escobar makes the play. Dyson gets the start in left field today. Alex Gordon gets the day off as we look at the Royals defensively, presented by Ford.
Hosmer, you see, he's an Iron Man so far this season. However, whenever Ned does want to rest him, he's got Kendrys Morales, who's a good first baseman. But you know, Ned hates to sit Hosmer because of what he can do defensively for that infield. He's an unbelievable first baseman, and he wears the gold.
Brett Gardner with 1 down. He started game 1 and had a first inning triple, and then Joe Girardi left him on the bench, at least in the starting lineup, against Danny Duffy. And once again, a fastball with great movement on a first pitch to a left-hand batter.
And I'm gonna tell you that 2-seamer's moving a foot.
Outside, 1-1. Gardner ended up appearing in the game late last night, coming on for a defensive upgrade. Again, good movement that is ruled high to home plate umpire Chris Guccione.
Volquez will do all he can to take care of Ellsbury and Gardner. Now, I took care of Ellsbury, but both of those guys are the only 2 in that lineup that have game-changing speed. 14 steals for Ellsbury, 10 for Gardner. Nice pitch, good breaking ball. So those 2 guys at the top of the order, you keep those guys off, and it doesn't give you any headaches when they start stealing. Great overhand breaking ball. Look at that. That just starts up around the letters, right below the letters, down below the knees.
Late movement got him looking. So Volquez has that today. The left-hand batters have their hands full.
Ooh, 9 pitches. Whew, he is working it. Tremendous stuff. Look at the two-seamer. Starts in. That's going to freeze most left-handers. But that ends up to being a good hit and pitch. But he gave up on it. Gardner, you got to go.
So 2 down to Alex Rodriguez. Volquez has thrown strike 1 to each of the first 3 hitters. Rodriguez homered in the game last night in the 9th inning. His 49th career home run against the Royals. That's the most among active players.
And it was one of the most impressive home runs I've seen this year. Especially where that pitch was down, but probably about 6-7 inches off the ground. And he went down and got it and hit it to the opposite field. Rarely do you see a righty do that.
1-2.
Let's take a look at it. Watch his back leg. His back leg. Watch how he goes down. He has to go way down and get it. Head position was perfect, and he lifted it. Watch his back leg here. See that back leg go down. And had to lower his upper half so he could get to it.
Escobar fields and throws out Rodriguez. Good start for Edinson Volquez. 3 up, 3 down. It was windy all morning and now becoming a very pleasant day as the clouds are moving out. Blue sky overhead, and here's the Royals lineup tonight presented by State Farm with Gerard Dyson batting 9th and playing in left field, giving Alex Gordon a day off. Ned still wants to protect Alex's surgically repaired wrist, and Alex also has a dinged up right thigh after being drilled in the Texas Rangers series. Chris Capuano back from the disabled list. He spent last year with the Red Sox and the Yankees. He is 36 years old, been around a long time, but he has never faced the Royals.
And he's facing a Royals offense that's one of the best in baseball against lefties this year, a .305 average. They will put the ball in play. He's not overpowering. He's got a fastball, changeup, curveball, slider. 88-92. Has some good downward movement on his breaking pitches that have come down and into the righty to the back leg. Gets a lot of guys to swing over the top and hit ground balls to the left side.
That was a swing, and it's 0-2 on Escobar.
That'll be the pitch right there. If he can command that like he's doing, it'll be tough for the Royals to lay off of it, but you got to discipline yourself on that one because it's not a good pitch to hit. Got to see him up.
One and two on Escobar. 1 for 9 in the series against the Yankees, with a couple of runs scored. Reaching out and avoiding the strikeout. He puts the ball in play and has a leadoff single.
A lot of off-speed pitches from Capuano today, and Escobar knew it. He was fooled, but he was out in front, and this ball just stayed up enough. This is on the outer half, and man, didn't look like it was up that much. That's just a really great piece of hitting there, as he's able to reach out and just guide that ball up the middle. Now the Royals will have to watch out for his move. He's got a good one. He's got some deception to his delivery and for his pickoff move at first base. He's going to show you 3 or 4 different looks. So it's going to make it tough on base runners. Rusty Kuntz, when he was doing his homework on Capuano, and he had to do a little overtime studying this guy. Yeah, there's a step off. There's one of them. He's got a couple of variations he'll use with his head. He'll look home and go to first, and then he'll look at first and go home. And then he holds the ball. Knows all the tricks of the trade. He's a veteran.
Low to Moustakas. Big game on Friday night. Moustakas had 4 hits, just missed hitting for the cycle.
It's great to see that right there. I mean, that's just special to see his batting average there. Here we are in the middle of May.
Bunting, as Headley, the third baseman, was back and shifted over to the right. 1-2.
Great idea. We've seen Moose do this a lot this year, I believe. He leads the team in bunt base hits.
Ned Yost gave us a good scouting report for Chris Capuano, because Capuano pitched for Ned Yost with the Brewers. So this is back-to-back nights where Ned is going up against a former pitcher of his. On the ground to second. Drew connects with Headley, and the throw gets away from Teixeira. No advance by Moustakas, so that was a 4-5 force out at second base. And a look at the Yankees defensively today.
Well, there you go. He's got a whole slew of pickoffs. None yet so far. Escobar was staying close to the bag. Gardner and Ellsbury out there. Beltran, pretty good outfield, especially the speed with Gardner and Ellsbury. They get to a lot of balls. Had plenty of time to get a good throw over there. He just whiffed it. Pulled the throw. Teixeira, gallant effort. Didn't go far enough to the backstop to advance Moose.
Now that was a third baseman having to make that throw. Chase Headley taking it at second base. I imagine something he has not done very often, but because of the defensive alignment, he was forced to be the cover man at second base.
Good call. You're right. He looked awkward.
Lorenzo Cain drove in 5 in game 1 with the Yankees, establishing a new career high. There's Capuano's changeup, and the count is 0-2.
It's going to be a real test of patience for the Royals offense. Can they wait Capuano out for their pitch?
Mike Moustakas has 1 stolen base this year. He does not have a threatening lead at the moment. Kane strikes out on 3 pitches, 2 down. That's Capuano's first.
And that's what he'll show with 2 strikes. At times he'll try to climb the ladder on you, just like that. 4-seamer, very nice, not overpowering, but still elevated high enough to where you can't catch it.
A reminder, as you enjoy this Royals salute to the Negro Leagues game, to look forward to Miller Time later this afternoon, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Beautiful day game here. 12th day game of the season for the Royals. 8-3 record, by the way. They're day game players.
Breaking ball for a strike to Hosmer. Mentioned Capuano pitching for Ned Yost in Milwaukee. He won 18 games 1 year for Ned. That was 10 years ago, 2005. Capuano went 18-12.
Fine career. He still looks good.
And he's somebody that Chris Medlin, who is now at the Royals, can use for inspiration, as Capuano is one of the few pitchers who has survived Tommy John surgery twice. He had it back in 2002 as a minor leaguer, and then 6 years later with the Brewers. So he's been pitching quite a while since the second Tommy John surgery.
You know,
1-2 on Hosmer.
He also, Ryan, is an inspiration to those pitchers that don't throw mid-90s. Almost every single pitcher in today's modern game, starters, they all throw 90, 96, 97. You know, this guy here, he's a master at changing speeds and locating. And you can get the job done if you locate properly. It's not about the velocity, it's all about location. Changing speeds. It's giving Hosmer a little fit here.
Still 1-2. Only 2 Royals in the lineup today have faced Capuano. Kendrys Morales, who is on deck, he has 3 at-bats. And Omar Infante has 18 at-bats. So this first time to the order, it'll be kind of a feeling out process here, just seeing the ball out of his hand.
You like to do that without missing your pitch. When you get 2 strikes, you're defensive, and Hosmer's been fighting off those last few offerings by Capuano that are anywhere but in the middle of the plate.
Two and two. Hosmer lost a 12-game hitting streak last night against CC Sabathia and Dellin Betances.
Just have to start another one up. You can see that patch that's sewn in over the finger of Capuano, so he doesn't tip any pitches with his finger that's exposed to his glove.
Down and away with a breaking ball. Capuano strikes out 2, working around the Escobar leadoff single. No score. We'll chat with Negro Leagues Baseball Museum President Bob Kendrick when we come back. museum. That is Dave Sims, the television voice of the Seattle Mariners, and Kevin Kremen, their radio engineer. Dave Sims often likes to stop by the museum when the Mariners are in town. And Dave Sims, by the way, would be a perfect candidate for Dress to the Nines. He is the usually the second best dressed man at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum when he visits, second only to President Bob Kendrick. Good to see you.
Hey, man, it's
Look
good
at
to
you.
be seen. Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
Bob.
Great day, man. I'm just having a great time.
Do you get a clothing allowance working at the museum?
No, but maybe I should mention that to my board of directors.
You should. Absolutely, you should. I mean, we've always said Dress to the Nines is every day for you.
You know, it's always fun, but today is even more special for me, and I think for all the fans who came out in their Sunday best. It's so wonderful to see something as organic as this event just take hold and really blossom into something special. We hope the rest of the baseball world is taking notice of what we're doing here in Kansas City, because we are truly making baseball fashionable again.
Now, back in that time, it was an attitude to dress. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was the in thing to do, right?
Oh, yeah. You know, that was the era of dress. So, you know, everywhere you went in society, you went out looking good because, you know, that was a source of pride. I think at the Negro Leagues, though, it was even taken to a whole nother level because oftentimes we were leaving church going straight to the game. And so there was. But Negro Leagues Baseball brought a tremendous source of pride to the African American community. So even though it was a difficult time in our society socially, we had baseball and it was ours. And people celebrated that, man. And they went to the games and they were looking good and they had to cheer on their monarchs. And of course, the monarchs were so doggone good, you know, so they were easy to cheer for because they were every year they were good. They had one losing season in their almost 40-year existence in the Negro Leagues.
And we lost a great former Monarchs player, Ernie Banks. We don't hear much about Ernie Banks being a member of the Kansas City Monarchs.
Absolutely, and that's why a day like today is such a tremendous learning opportunity and a teaching opportunity for us at the museum. And the uniforms that the Royals are wearing are part of, you know, inspired by the 1953 Monarchs, which was Ernie's last Negro Leagues team before going on to be signed by the Cubs at the end of that season. The very next year, he's National League Rookie of the Year. And then he embarks on that legendary Hall of Fame career. We're excited to be taking a group of folks to Chicago here at the end of the month when you guys are going to be there.
That's right.
Royals playing the Cubs, and if anybody's interested, there's still some room on the bus. And so if you're interested, just call the museum this week, and we'll find a way to get you on. We're going to go up and watch the Sunday game. Going to leave on Saturday, May 30th, and spend the day there and watch the game on Sunday and load the bus up and come on back home as a barnstorming remembrance to the late, great Ernie Banks, a tale of two cities, Kansas City, Chicago. But we gave him to Chicago.
That's right.
Yes.
What a great opportunity that is for somebody to jump on and go with you guys.
Well, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, you know, it's going to be very reminiscent of what it was like. I mean, the bus won't be the same. It'll be a nice modern bus. But, you know, so it won't be quite like it was on those rickety old buses they were riding on, and no AC and that whole 9 yards. And we might stop somewhere and play a game in a local town team before we get to Chicago. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a great way, again, to teach about the Negro Leagues and to help people remember guys like Ernie Banks who came out of the Negro Leagues.
Well, speaking of games, watching your skills before the game as you caught the first pitch, you played baseball in your day too, Bob. That's a heck of a play you made on the opening pitch.
I hope somewhere that Big John Mayberry was watching me pick that one, man, because that was for him.
You know, you were hoping for a good, nice throw, an easy throw, but man, your partner, he short chopped you, man. Let's check it out. About 4 feet. Watch the hands here, folks.
And he does it no scuff on the shoe, right? No dirt on the pants.
It's better idea.
The hat doesn't go anywhere. Look at that.
Look at him watch the ball in. He watched the ball all the way into his glove and the shoes. There's not an opening day person who caught today that had shoes like that, man. It's beautiful.
Oh, man, that's great. I got to make sure I get a copy of that.
Oh, we'll get it for you.
We'll
get it for you. And by the way, you know, just don't get my hat dirty. Okay, we spent a long time in my closet this morning, and you picking out which one of my hats you wanted to wear.
Thank you for loaning it to me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Don't get it dirty. Okay. Strikeout for Volquez. That's his second. And they're 2 down in the second inning. If you weren't able to make it today, and you said the brunch went well, it was well attended.
Was so good.
Portion of those tickets are going to help the museum.
Go back to the museum. Portion of game tickets that were bought through Royals.com back to the museum.
The Royals have just been great.
Yeah,
really trying to help the museum. And by the way, if you weren't able to come to the brunch today or the game, there's a way for you to help the museum and be a part of today, because the game used jerseys will be autographed and they're going to be auctioned. The Royals jerseys. The Yankees elected not to participate, whatever. But the auction is now open and will continue through May the 26th. And remember, all proceeds benefit the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. You can go to Royals.com/NLBM for more information. So it's a great day. We should be celebrating, and I'm glad over the past few years that this has become more than just saluting the Negro Leagues, but supporting the museum, and people are certainly in the spirit today.
Well, we certainly appreciate both of you guys, man. Thank you for everything you do to help us.
Enjoy the day, Bob.
Bob. Way to go, buddy.
Right.
Thank you so much for being out here.
All right.
Way, and there are many deserving Royals, including Kendrys Morales, who leads off the bottom of the second inning. Don't forget, voting is online this year, and you can vote up to 35 times on the exclusive Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. Make sure the team, managed by Ned Yost, has multiple Royals. Vote today at Royals.com/vote. Out into right center field, Carlos Beltran glides over and makes a play to get Kendrys Morales. Well, it's really fun today to see how many fans not only dressed up today, but really kind of in period clothing, if you will. You know,
it's great
dressing in the days of the Negro Leagues and really getting in the spirit of today.
You know, it's one thing if you're an adult to dress yourself and to be a part of that, but how about the moms and dads who dress their kids? I mean, that's extra work, but man, way to go. What a special touch to see some of the youngsters out here with their hats and little bow ties on. I mean, really special. Love it. Hopefully the Royals can finish off this series here and take the series. I mentioned they are 8-3 during day games. There's a couple of young lads there that are all in it to win it.
A couple of the giveaways, those two young guys sitting next to each other, the fedora that we had,
yeah,
and next to the newsboy hat, which was given away today. Both those guys look sharp in those hats.
Outstanding.
You know, style sometimes can be you know, come back cyclical.
It can,
right?
And it will.
Who knows? Maybe fedoras in elementary school are going to be cool again.
Hey, look, that was last year's giveaway. The one on the left is today's.
2-2 on Salvador Perez.
It's going to be an interesting contest, though, if Capuano can continue to locate like he's doing, and he's changing speeds, really messing with the guys. There's a changeup. See that? He holds the back 3 fingers, same arm speed as a fastball, and it really is a deceptive pitch. As you can see, the whole key is to get the hitter off balance. And hitters, if the pitcher's mechanics are off balance, he leaves the ball up to be hit. It's pretty simple. But it's not, especially if you never had the opportunity to step in there. I mean, it's really could be a test. Fastballs are much easier for hitters because they're not worried about being tricked. They can time the fastball so much easier. But when you got a guy like Capuano who's slower and slower, and then can actually speed it up with a 4-seam fastball, it really makes it tough. You have to zone him out over.
There's a pitch that stayed up, and Salvi hits it deep to left, and Gardner at the fence. It's gone for a home run.
Second hit off Capuano, and both of them, the hitters reached out, were off balance, but they were able to get the barrel on the bat. Here it is, barrel on the ball. Here a changeup. Salvi's fooled, but his hands stay back, and he's able to reach down low and catch that ball right outside, get a little backspin on it, and a little bit of wind helped him get that ball over, and there's your lead, Eddie.
Fifth home run, 20th RBI, and we had been talking about the weather last inning and how the wind had died down, but it has picked up again out of the south. So good timing for Salvador Perez and the Royals. Out into right field again, and Beltran brings it down for the second out. Here are today's Toyota League leaders. This was a category last year which scared many in predicting that the Royals would win this year. That the run differential, some thought it was a bit fluky that a team with the Royals run differential last year would get into the playoffs and get so far into the playoffs. But it's been a huge improvement this year, and the Royals are best in the league in run differential. Royals were just plus 27 in 2014 during the regular year.
Paulo's been swinging a hot bat, looking good. He's been a while since he's hit a triple. He's got to add to that league-leading 5 triples. We haven't seen him hit that gap recently, and if he does, here at the K especially, it's 3 bags.
Good pitch on 2-0. So a fastball on 2-0, but Capuano put it in a tough spot and gets Orlando to pop out. Wasn't able to get Salvador Perez to pop out. His home run gives the Royals a 1-0 lead. fans of all ages dressed to the nines on this salute to the Negro Leagues. Salvador Perez homering in the bottom of the second inning. Put the Royals in front 1-0. Edison Volquez back to work. And Chase Headley takes inside.
You know, that swing that Salvi put on, we just showed that in the black and white, and the way he went down and was able to lift it is a lot like Alex Rodriguez's last night, except Alex is to the opposite field.
Dyson fighting the sun out in left field, and now Volquez has set down the first 7 Yankees. Volquez on Tuesday allowed the leadoff man to reach in 4 of 5 innings and had to deal with 10 base runners in 5 innings. And was able to pitch well for the most part with men on base. And now here we are in the 3rd inning, and the Yankees are still looking for their first runner. Stephen Drew takes a little bit inside. Two-0. And a little bit inside again. 3 balls and no strikes.
Well, that's firm. I'll tell you what, he's releasing that ball, and it is exploding up at the plate. Very smooth delivery. He's not happy though. He believes that was a strike, and so do I. Salvi does too. Nobody complaining though. Visually.
Out into left center field. Kane and Dyson are there. And Kane with the sunglasses on makes the play.
Every ball can be an adventure out there, especially today with that wind. These guys make it look good.
Here's our University of Kansas Hospital injury report. Brian Flynn, and remember the last roster spot in spring training came down to Brian Flynn, who came over from the Marlins in the Aaron Crow deal, and Ryan Madsen. The Royals decided to go with Madsen, and Brian Flynn was injured very early in the season with a torn lat muscle. Big left-hand pitcher who had a very impressive spring training, so he was called up and moved to the 60-day disabled list, which takes him off the 40-man roster, and that's how the Royals were able to make room for Joe Blanton. 2 down to Didi Gregorius, and he pops it up. That'll reach the crowd, and it's 1-1. One and 2 on Gregorius.
It's interesting to see the numbers Gregorius has against Volquez. 2 for 7. Both of them are home runs.
Sal making sure that this pitch is down, which it is, and it's 2-2. That came up and bit Sal, but he's all right.
It's amazing how many foul tips Salvador takes, and I asked him about some of those, and he says you let it go. You don't think about it. I caught him up on his thumb there. So mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter. Let it go.
3 perfect innings, 3 strikeouts for Edison Volquez. sitting in that same seat for years, right behind home plate, and really brought the Negro Leagues to life in Ken Burns' baseball series. And for many years now, the Royals have honored a special person in the community by allowing them to sit in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat. And on this salute to the Negro Leagues, it's Dave Goodwin. Dave heard Buck O'Neil speak at an area church, and that inspired him to start volunteering at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. And now Dave's been involved for almost 20 years. Dave helps with the annual Buck O'Neil Golf Tournament, Buck's Birthday Bash, the Hall of Game Awards Dinner, and many other events. And Buck would be proud. And he's got Buck with him as he sits in his famous seat today.
Fantastic. This is the thing that's so impressive about the Royals and what they do. I don't think there's another seat like that in any other ballpark in the world. But right here in Kansas City, they honor those who honor others and who volunteer their time and do stuff for people. It's spectacular, the opportunity these people get to sit in Buck O'Neil's seat.
Dyson reaching, and Teixeira, like a hockey goalie, makes a glove save and gets Dyson for the first out.
That's what Dyson wants to do, just put that ball in play, put it on the ground and use his legs. If he would have hit that ball a little bit further to Teixeira's right, he would have had a base hit.
He is a 5-time Gold Glove winner, Mark Teixeira, but his run ended 2 years ago when Eric Hosmer won his first in 2013. Escobar takes a slider for a strike. Esky was down 1-2 in the first inning and singled to center field. And now no balls, 2 strikes. All right, he's got him right where he wants him. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, everything is moving down. He's got really good stuff to his slider. And the one time he'll elevate, and that's up out of the zone to try to get you to swing and miss at.
Capuano this time got it down and out of the strike zone. That is Capuano's 3rd strikeout. Well, we hope you'll come to Tourism Night here at Kauffman Stadium. That's Tuesday, as the Royals, along with the Greater Kansas City Attractions Association, will provide an exclusive opportunity for fans to visit over 30 interactive attraction booths throughout the outfield experience. The first 10,000 fans through the gates will also receive a KC Attractions coupon sheet. That's coming up on Tuesday, the beginning of a 2-game series with the Cincinnati Reds. Royals.com/tourism. You can stop by the Gorilla booth while you're here. Curveball for a strike, and it's 1-1 to Mike Moustakas. He was on with a fielder's choice in the first inning. One ball, 2 strikes. Royals having a tough time picking up that pitch from Capuano, who's done a very good job of keeping it down below the knees.
Sure has. He's working that pitch to lefties and righties, and it's deceptive. Really got to try to see him up. That means pick up that release point. And if it starts up around your letters, it's going to be good to hit. But if it starts out at your waist, it's going to be in the dirt. And you have about a split second or 2 maybe just to pick that up.
And that one stayed way up. Moustakas is down 4 strikeouts in 3 innings for Capuano. Edison Volquez, but how about some of the defense last night? Unorthodox defense.
You don't practice those. I can tell you that's all reaction. And that was beautiful. And just so happened to be for newcomer Joe Blanton. Every one of those plays. He's probably saying to himself, now, I know they have a great defense, but really? To end the inning, every one of them for me. Thank you.
Improvised defense.
Yeah.
Edison Volquez has begun the day by retiring the first 9 Yankees. So top of the order here in the 4th, and Jacoby Ellsbury, Brett Gardner, and Alex Rodriguez. Oh, and 2.
Volquez, he's coming right out. He's got really good confidence in his fastball today. That 2-seamer, that's the pitch that really caused him the blister before. So it's obviously not bothering him whatsoever. Very good pitch. Nice curve.
And that makes Ellsbury, who normally wears out the Royals, 0 for 8 in this series. 4 strikeouts for Volquez.
Starts you off hard, 2-seamers away, and finishes you off with that one. There's nothing Ellsbury did wrong there. That's just some really good stuff.
Brett Gardner was also a strikeout victim. He was Volquez's first strikeout victim. Edison got him looking in the first inning. Inside at 94 for ball 1. And back with a changeup. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Volquez has weapons. I mean to tell you, he's got 4. They don't really, fastball, curveball, change, but he varies that fastball. Is 2-seamer, 4-seamer. You got those kind of weapons, and you're on like you are today. It's going to make it tough for him.
Second time to the order for the Yankees, and at least this year that hasn't been much of an adjustment for Volquez. The league has not adjusted second time through. Now third time through is a different issue, but he's been steady first and second time through the order. Dyson, the sunglasses on. 2 down in the fourth. Alex Rodriguez with 2 down, nobody on. Greeted warmly as he comes to the plate. Our T-Mobile game changer. Now it's interesting because on the subject of RBIs, if you read the Yankee notes, they will tell you that Alex Rodriguez is 1 RBI away from Babe Ruth, who is 4th, Lou Gehrig 3rd. RBIs did not become an official statistic until 1920, which was Babe Ruth's first year with the Yankees. So the total that the Yankees are using is Babe Ruth's total since he joined New York, but he had over 200 RBIs with the Boston Red Sox prior to coming to the Yankees.
Oh,
so the Elias Statistical Bureau, which is the official stat machine of Major League Baseball, will tell you that Alex Rodriguez still has a long ways to go before catching Babe Ruth.
Yeah, sounds more like it.
And that's hit well to right center field. Rodriguez homered that way last night, and Orlando is not able to make the play, but the ball stays in. And Rodriguez jogs into second base with a double. He was not running very hard, and you can understand the Royals figured that that was a sure double, but that was closer than anyone expected with the ball coming back to the infield and Rodriguez jogging into second base. Maybe he thought he went deep again.
Okay, we noticed Salvi. Watch him what he's doing. He's signaling to Hosmer that he's coming away. He's gonna throw this pitch away. So he's giving his first baseman a little heads up. And Alex Rodriguez, he showed last night, man, he can handle the opposite field. Very strong. Good lower half, good balance, strong hands, and put his head down and run. And Paulo just misjudged it a tad. Well, actually, it's over his head. He was right on it. I thought it was off to the side of his glove. Wynn's really pushing that ball towards left center field, but Alex supplied most of that.
So the first base runner, and it comes with 2 down in the fourth inning. And we'll see how well Volquez adjusts, how quickly he adjusts to pitching out of the stretch for the first time. You got Teixeira to fly out to center field in the second inning. Two and 0.
Teixeira, 211 hitter with a runner in second base and beyond. Royals infield believes he's going to pull it.
And that dips low. 3-0. Brian McCann is on deck. Teixeira has 11 home runs, 28 RBIs. McCann on deck has 4 home runs. And that got Teixeira on the foot, so Rodriguez will have to go back to second base. So Volquez pitching out of the stretch for the first time after the double. Had a tough time finding the strike zone, which he's had very little trouble doing so far today.
Yeah, that's on the outside pinky toe. That's not going to feel good at all.
Teixeira says he's fine, at least fine enough to stay in the game. It's still in pain. 2 on, 2 out. And now Volquez and Brian McCann. Volquez struck out McCann in the second inning. Slow curveball's in for a strike. McCann snaps his head back at home plate umpire Chris Guccione.
McCann a little bit better with runners in scoring position there. You see 324 than Teixeira.
And now it's 0-2. Now McCann got something in his eye and asked for and is granted time. Salvi recovers quickly. No advance, no speed on the bases for the Yankees, with Rodriguez at second and Teixeira at first.
They're station to station as far as runners go. This time in their career, it's an older Yankee team, no question about it, except for the top. We talked about Ellsbury and Gardner's legs.
Coming up during that Reds series will be our next student night, presented by Inc. Magazine. Drink and food specials in the outfield experience for students. $8 tickets, live music from local Kansas City bands. And this Wednesday it's music from Atlas. So get those $8 tickets at the box office or at royals.com/student night. Sal wanted that pitch down. He had his glove right above the dirt, and Volquez gets him with a high fastball to end the innings. The Yankees give him a little bit of a scare. Volquez has struck out 5 in 4 scoreless innings. Salvador Perez Might have been using an old deke play with Brian McCann. Now McCann's a catcher, and Sal may have been tapping his glove on the dirt to get McCann to hear that and think down, because then Sal prepares for a pitch that was up. He certainly wasn't down deep in a crouch expecting a ball that was low, and then he pumped his fist, suggesting that that's exactly where he wanted it. So we saw Sal last night moving his glove around, maybe trying to con the hitter into thinking that he was moving when he wasn't, and maybe that was a little con job with Brian McCann. One and one to Lorenzo Cain. Capuano has struck out 4 in his 3 innings, and he got Lorenzo with a fastball up in the first inning.
Royals, they don't like to strike out. Matter of fact, the Royals have 3 players in the top 10 and hardest to fan: Escobar, Moose, and Salvi.
No swing. James Hoy is the first base umpire. TV savvy. He waited a few moments, knowing that our cameras were adjusting. Ooh. Gave the no swing sign and held it there for a beat or 2.
That's right.
That away, James Hoy.
Well trained.
Three balls, 2 strikes.
A lot of body movements by Capuano too. Now, not only do the Royals have to see that pitch up, that breaking ball he's been so good with this afternoon, it's trying to pick up the release point. He's kind of moves around a little bit. He starts kind of old-fashioned wind up and holds that glove right out there the same way he'll hold it for every pitch he grips, so hitters can't tip it, pick up anything.
Cain is on with a leadoff walk, and let's go to Joel.
Lorenzo Cain so far, and the numbers, the metrics show that a little bit. We talked a lot about WAR, wins above replacement, and Fangraphs. There are a couple different versions. They have Lorenzo, as we see in our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard, in the top 5 in Major League Baseball. And the common thread with most of these guys is that for the most part, they all run, they play defense. Stephen Vogt might be a little bit of a surprise on there, but Lorenzo Cain doing so much to help his team at this point. And talking to Eric Hosmer about that today, and one thing that Eric said is that in the past it was.
All right, we'll go back to Joel in just a moment. Having a little problem with his microphone. Perfect timing though, because Cain's at first, and Joel was referencing a conversation that he had with Eric Hosmer about Lorenzo Cain, and now Hosmer's at the plate with Cain at first. Hosmer was a strikeout victim of Capuano's in the first inning. Royals lead 1-0. They have had only 3 base runners so far against Capuano, and the Yankees in their 4 innings have had only 2 base runners against Edinson Volquez. In the dirt, Cain stays put. 2 balls and no strikes.
Second time through the order. Word's gotten out. Lay off of the breaking ball. It's not a hittable pitch. You're not going to hit it unless you're like Salvi and you can reach out and throw your booty and throw the barrel of that bat at the same time and connect it for a homer. Leave it alone. Stay off of it.
Ooh, didn't mean to do it.
He's got to be able to come in there to set up a way. So that's what he's doing there, trying to check Hosmer, make sure he's not just looking for that breaking ball out over the plate. Good effective spot.
Kane saw that one coming.
He almost has like a changeup in his delivery over there. He'll hesitate, and then go home, and then go to first. It's very hard. Now, if you want to take a chance, you go first movement, then you just take a chance and keep running all the way to the bag.
Outside to Hosmer, 3 balls and 1 strike. Capuano, like a lot of lefties, has been tough on left-hand hitters in his career. But last year, pitching for both the Red Sox and the Yankees, he had a tough time getting lefties out. Mike Moustakas, Eric Hosmer, and Gerard Dyson are the lefties in the lineup today against Capuano.
The test for left-handers against Capuano, obviously, that big breaking ball, is to keep that right shoulder in. Keep it in, keep it from flying open, because when that happens, then your hips go and all you have are your arms, and usually hit little pop-ups or ground balls. Think opposite field with this guy.
And Capuano got to the big leagues in 2003, so parts of 11 seasons. Lefties hit .231. It's pretty typical, lefty-lefty. But last year, .321. And the slugging percentage going from .331 to .585. Yikes. Hosmer takes just inside. Capuano has issued back-to-back walks in the 4th inning.
Hosmer continues to show plate discipline. 19th walk on the season. That leads the Royals.
Kendrys Morales out in a fly ball to right field in the 2nd inning. He is 0 for 4 in his career against Capuano. He and Omar Infante were the only Royals who had faced Capuano in a regular season game before today. Now Brian McCann's a bit concerned after back-to-back walks and missing badly against Morales. And they begin to stir around now in the Yankee right field bullpen. Another great crowd.
Morales and Hosmer, they're both tied for RBIs for the team lead. 29 is sitting there. And, you know, you're 4th and 5th hitters. That's what you expect them to drive in runs, and they're both doing it. Morales has a chance to take the lead here.
Esmiel Rogers is warming up in the Yankee bullpen. And now Morales ahead, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Royals hitters making him work this inning. This is exactly what you want. First time through the order, they found out he's got pretty good stuff if you swing at it. But they're not for strikes, so this time through they're making some adjustments.
Oh man, did he have a swing. And Capuano perhaps had that in mind and changed speeds on Morales. 2-2.
That's right, they call that pitching backwards. In fastball counts, they'll throw you the changeup or the breaking ball. And he had him pulling away from it.
And that's into right field for a base hit. Kane is around 3rd. Beltran doesn't throw like he used to, so he'll go to 2nd base. And Morales takes over the team lead. That is his 30th RBI, and the Royals lead 2-0.
He's so good at that. Now he might take a rip. And that was his one swing when Capuano threw that 2-1 pitch changeup. Now he shortens it up. Obviously McCann was sitting inside. They wanted to jam him there, but Morales just shortened up his swing and took the RBI to the opposite field. Very nice hitting. Making the 2 walks hurt so far. Got one of those walks home. Morales with a smile.
Not only the team lead, but now tied for the league lead with Nelson Cruz and Stephen Vogt. And Eric Hosmer and Miguel Cabrera just one tick behind the pack. And now Salvador Perez. He homered with 1 out in the 2nd inning.
Sure, Larry Rothschild said, look, with your good off-speed pitches, you can get this guy to roll over and to hit into a double play. Let's see if he takes his lessons from his pitching coach here. Salvi wants to try to stay inside the baseball, shoot it to right.
Got a fastball down. 1 ball, 1 strike. Our Ram drive of the game with 1 out in the 2nd inning. Salvador Perez against Capuano. His 5th of the year, driving in his 20th.
Might have been a little off balance, but his hands were back. Had enough to fire through.
Grounded past Headley. And now Hosmer will be waved home on Gardner. And his throw will be late and cut off. And the first 4 have reached in the inning. Salvador Perez is driven in 2. It's now 3-0 KC.
Well, Rothschild tried to talk him into it, but Salvi had other ideas. He says, I'm going to hit the hole. I'm going to pull him, but I'm going to hit that hole. Right past the diving Headley. Good try, but Royals once again feeding off of each other. Better believe that. A lot of people would take him as your pilot.
Omar Infante has great numbers against Capuano, so Joe Girardi says it's time for a Chevy call to the bullpen. Perez home run, but in this inning the first 4 reached, sending Capuano to the showers, and Omar Infante will face Esmail Rogers.
Yep, we talk about it all the time. This is a game of adjustments, and the Royals offense, they really made some adjustments in that inning here, this inning especially here. 2nd time through the order there. It made Capuano get the ball up, and when he did, they hit it. Rogers, the right-hander, 6'3", 200, 87 to 93. He's got good fastball, curveball, and a changeup.
Good time to take Capuano out. got Infante to fly out to right field in the second inning, but Infante has huge numbers against Capuano. So Rogers comes on with Morales at second, Perez at first, and nobody out. 2-0. Three innings plus 4 batters for Capuano. That's the quickest the Royals have knocked a starter out of a game this year. That's a shot fair all the way down into the corner. Morales scores. Perez will be held at third. So Joe Girardi made the move, trying to avoid Capuano and Infante still comes through, and the Royals lead 4-0 in the fourth.
11th double on the year, and that was timely. Ismael Rogers, he fell behind 2-0, so you know what he's looking for. That fastball right down the middle at 94. Great swing, nice and level. Hit it right where it should have been hit. Moving those runners over with nobody out, still opportunities to put more runs on the board. And you know, you mentioned that's the shortest outing of the starter facing the Royals this year, right? That's a little surprising. As good as this offense is, I'm surprised they haven't gotten starters out earlier, but they score their runs, the Royals do, later in games.
Although Orlando is out in front, 0-1 against Ismael Rogers. He popped out to first in the third inning. They knocked Jared Weaver out after 4 1/3 innings when the Royals were sweeping the Angels during their first road trip.
Infield in, aim up the middle.
0-2.
Good rip.
Paulo had some real good swings last night against CC Sabathia. And he had good swings the night before against Michael Pineda and the Yankee bullpen. Orlando had 2 hits against Sabathia last night and a line out to short. Still 0-2.
If he can find a hole in that infield and reach the outfield, it should score Infante. Infante at second base, with the infield in, he can get a huge lead at second base. It's really important now. They're back now, but they'll creep in.
On the ground to Teixeira. Not a play where Perez can score. 1 down. And now Rogers will get Gerard Dyson, who, like Orlando just did, grounded out to Teixeira unassisted. Dyson's due hitless in his last 11 at bats.
I'll say 1 RBI on the season, has a chance to do some more damage and get some more stakes across. Again, infield in, you try to want to guide that ball up the middle. That's the biggest hole out there.
Nice lead for Edinson Volquez. He retired the first 11 Yankees. Gave up a 2-out double and hit a batter in the fourth, but struck out McCann. So the way he's going, this is a mountain of runs of support. He's working on his mechanics.
Yeah, visualization. Beautiful. He's working on that balance point. I mentioned Infante's got a good lead at second base, but the outfielders, they have moved in 3 or 4 steps, not respecting the power of Gerard Dyson. He's got some pop. This is the one time where, you know, Dyson gets a lot of fastballs high in the zone. I want him to hit on the ground, use the speed, but look up. I'm going to try to drive one, get an RBI with a sac fly. Now 0-2, you're just up there trying to hack.
Got him with a pitch down, 2 away. MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand in HD with highlights, live look-ins, and pitch tracking every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Well, here's where the Royals have been so good all year. Hitting with 2 outs, 2 outs with runners in scoring position. Escobar takes a breaking ball for a strike. Eski's job as the Royals leadoff man, his primary job is to get on base. But lately, he's been the one driving in the runs. The Royals have the best batting average with runners in scoring position in the league. And as far as individuals go, Alcides Escobar has the second best average. .450 with runners in scoring position. Off the end of the bat. So the Yankees allow 3. Imagine they feel fortunate it wasn't more. The first 5 reach. Morales, Perez, and Infante make it a 3-run 4th inning and a 4-0 Royals lead. The lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Quality, reliability, and value. Find a servicing Steel dealer. Search STIHL. As the equivalent of the All-Century team, that would be the All-Negro Leagues team, all bronze statues at their respective positions inside the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum.
It's a great place to visit. If you haven't been there, you've got to go.
Edison Volquez with a 4-run lead. He'll get Beltran, Headley, and Drew in the 5th inning. Yankees have only 2 base runners in the first 4 innings. Beltran grounded out to Hosmer in the 2nd inning. He has an 8-game hitting streak, warming him up to 231. Last year was the worst year of his big league career. Beltran hit 233. He was on the disabled list a couple of times, one of which was with a concussion. Three and one. Remember how badly the Royals wanted to sign Carlos Beltran 2 off seasons ago and thought they made him a deal that no other team could match. The Yankees came in late. Beltran signed with them. Moustakas over on the right side throws out Beltran. 2 down. So Volquez continues to get outs, our sprint cuts of the game, and he's gotten a lot of outs, and the Yankees have had very few runners in the first 4 1/3 innings.
Exceptional stuff. Volquez, this might be the best stuff we've seen all year. Blister obviously healing up, although it's not quite healed. The pitch that affects that blister the most is that 2-seam fastball and the 4-seamer. He puts that seam right on that spot there inside the thumb, and when he lets it go, there's a lot of torque on that skin.
One and one on Chase Headley. He had the big hit last night. Danny Duffy was 1 strike away from going 5 innings and giving up just 1 run. But with 2 on, 2 out, and 2 strikes, Headley, as a right-hand batter, hit one to the back of the Royals bullpen, turning a 1-1 game into a 4-1 Yankee lead, and they went on to win 5-1. That's hit well into center field. And Headley is on with 1 out, just the 3rd base runner for the Yankees. Now Stephen Drew, who flied out to Kane in the 3rd inning. Volquez in great shape with just 67 pitches.
He's been getting in that strike zone early.
And he does it again, 0-1.
Get ahead of those hitters, then you can finish them off with just about any of his pitches today, as good as they all are. The breaking ball is really nice. It's coming over the top and down, straight down. 2-seam fastballs working away, and the changeup's working away to the lefties.
Out to left field. Headley goes halfway as Dyson makes a play, 2 down. So Volquez is 1 out away from 5 innings, and just comparing him to his last start where he went 5 innings. Against the Rangers in 5 innings, 10 runners. Today, 3 runners. On Tuesday against the Rangers, the leadoff man was on in 4 of 5 innings, so he was basically pitching out of the stretch all day. This afternoon, the leadoff man on has been on 0 of 5 innings. And Gregorius will hit it back into the crowd, just a couple of rows. He was the Royals' best starter, hands down, in his first 5 starts, and then hit a bump over his last 2. ERA was just under 8. Now, one of those was the one where he was dealing with the blister and had to come out very early against the Indians. That was on May the 7th.
Yeah, you could tell, you know, something was off. He was battling that. He didn't have command, and we found out why. I mean, obviously, what he's doing now, just averaging today's game 14.8 pitches per inning. That is working.
Didn't mean to swing. Hosmer fields, and he'll run to the bag to end the inning. 5 scoreless innings for Edinson Volquez. The deciding game of the series, and the Royals lead 4-0. Deals on new Ford cars and trucks. Visit thoroughbredford.com. Negro Leagues Baseball Museum in the historic 18th and Vine district. And our salute to the Negro Leagues. So far so good for the Royals, wearing the Monarchs uniform of the 50s.
We want to encourage the fans to go online, bid on those jerseys that the Royals are wearing today. Help generate money to go to all the proceeds going to the Negro League Museum to help keep that wonderful museum operating.
Game worn and autographed, and the auction is open from now until the 26th, so 9 days. Royals.com/NLBM. Sure, there's a perfectly good reason, but it's a bit disappointing that the Yankees did not participate. I think this is the first salute to the Negro Leagues where only one team is wearing the Negro League uniforms. Moustakas is on with a leadoff walk. Moustakas is on for the first time. DraftKings gives us players to watch. Lorenzo Cain walked and scored in the 4th inning. That was a leadoff walk. Chris Capuano coming back from the disabled list. The Royals knocked him around, giving up 4 runs, 4 hits in 3 innings. Billy Hamilton, no stolen bases. We'll see him Tuesday and Wednesday. And Mike Wright pitching for the Orioles.
How about
pitching
him
well
in his debut, throwing goose eggs up against the Halos. Yeah, you know, Rhino, I'm a little bit surprised. I don't know the reason behind why the Yankees wouldn't wear their uniforms of their Negro League team, but I think they were called the Blacks. That was their.
They were the New York Black Yankees.
Black Yankees, and you know, They're a classy organization. Maybe they will wait and see what the Royals jerseys garner and write them a check and match it.
Gregorius, second one, and the Yankees turn that into a double play. So 2 down. Let's go to Joel.
Well, Ryan, how many times have we seen this before? Here's our Mazda game break. Shelby Miller, Atlanta Braves, 2 outs, no hitter. Oh, broken up back-to-back hits with 2 outs. He ends up settling for his second shutout of the year. Following the game, though, Miami's manager Mike Redmond fired, so a 2-hit shutout for Shelby Miller. And guys, I'll pass on what I was told talking to a representative and spokesman for the Yankees who told me that he said that the Yankees have never worn throwback uniforms, and they chose to participate by wearing the Ernie Banks patch on the side of their Yankees jerseys. I asked if those Yankees jerseys would be auctioned off, and he said he did not know, but I've at least since been told from Royals people that they had heard that there was no understanding that those jerseys would be auctioned off, and hopefully there is some kind of financial donation.
Well, it's a significant part of the proceeds today, those items being auctioned off, so that's fine. They come to Kansas City and don't participate in one of our big, civic celebrations. So when we go to New York on the next road trip, I am not going to ride a taxi cab.
All right,
not one.
I won't take.
And I'm not going to yell at anybody while I'm.
That's right.
In Manhattan either. I can play that game.
Well, they'll write a check.
Well, I've heard, and tongue-in-cheek, of course, my comments that there could be some licensing issues as well.
There you go. There's always something.
But it is nice to see both teams. I mean, we're used to seeing the Monarchs jerseys, but what the old New York Black Yankees uniforms look like.
Well, you know what? They did put a patch on their sleeves.
Tough play for Rogers. Now a tough throw, and he throws it over everybody and everything. It's a base hit and then an error, which allows Hosmer to go to second base.
Yeah, Hosmer's got a bigger smile now. He knows he's going to get a hit out of it, but still very difficult off-balance throw. He opened up his hips and his arms and let it fly. And it's too bad it didn't stay in the stands for a souvenir. Bounced right back. 28th infield hit by a Royal this season.
Morales takes low. Now, if you watch that replay from the wide angle, you see the ball ricochet back into play, but the ball went over the railing of the camera well. So that made it out of play by going over the railing. It hit the back wall of the camera well, so that's why it's a dead ball. Right between Bruce and John, who held their positions. Bruce has his Monarchs cap on. That away, Bruce. John has his burglar Kansas City cap on. And now 3-0 on Morales. He drove in one of the 3 runs last inning. Salvador Perez has 2 RBIs. Morales and Infante have each driven in a run. Four-pitch walk. Setting up 2 on 2 out for Sal. The Yankees walked 2 last inning, and the Royals turned both of those into runs, and now the Yankees have walked 2 in this inning. One was erased on the double play hit by Kane, and now a single, a throwing error, and a second walk allowed by Rogers. And here's Sal. 2 RBIs today, a solo home run in the second and a single driving in a run in the fourth.
He pulled both of those. See if he takes a shot to the opposite field here. We'll see. But when he gets wound up, look at that. That pitch there was outside and down, and he stayed with it and barreled it. That base hit there in the hole was a beautiful stroke. Salvi's 5th home run on the season. Salvador Perez, he's a beast. With runners in scoring position and 2 outs, he's got 11 hits. That's the most in Major League Baseball. That's a .524 clip. Money. He's a money hitter.
Slider is up and away. No balls, 2 strikes. One and 2 on Sal. He is facing Rogers for the first time. Rogers came on in relief of Capuano after the first 4 reached in the 4th inning. Infante doubled against Rogers, who ended up getting all 3 outs in the 4th. And in this inning has walked 2, and he's committed a throwing error, but the double play has been big. The Royals scoreless so far. Got him to pop it up. Gardner having a little trouble with the sun, but is able to make the catch. And the Royals are scoreless in the bottom of the 5th. To the 6th, Edinson Volquez is in control. The Royals lead 4-0. Edinson Volquez begins the 6th inning. He'll get the top of the order for the Yankees as we welcome in Denny Matthews. And good to see another Royals Hall of Famer. We were looking at some of the highlights from today. George Toma's out there working with the grounds crew.
Yeah, somebody asked me if George was here today, and I said yes, and they said, where is he? And I said, all you have to do is look for the one guy that has one rake.
That's right.
It was George.
Oh, good to see him.
Yeah.
I will never forget my first year with the Royals, spring training in 1999. We were still in Baseball City. And when I would get to the ballpark in the morning and leave the ballpark in the early evening, I would see the exact same thing. And that would be George Toma hand dragging the entire infield all by himself.
Yeah, he didn't want anybody else to do it because nobody could do it quite like he could do it. In fact, he didn't even want you on his field. And Rex, if you walked out there on his field, you know what he would tell you? Get off my field. Don't you know that grass grows by inches and not by feet? Especially your feet.
That's right. They're very, very particular.
He took as much pride in the artificial surface all those years here. And boy, God forbid somebody would spit a piece of gum and he saw that on the artificial surface. Oh boy,
that's a lifetime ban.
Isn't he still doing the Super Bowl? They invite him every time to come and check out their surface.
Exactly. Consultant.
Right. Impressive.
Line caught, and that knocks Escobar over. So Jacoby Ellsbury is still hitless in this series, and that's big news. He has great career numbers against the Royals.
Didn't do anything wrong with that, except he hit it right at him.
Mike Butcher, who was the pitching coach for the Angels, he was an original product of the Royals organization and never got to the big leagues with the Royals. But if you ask him about some of his most memorable experiences as a member of the Royals, and he'll tell you that he came up once with some young players at then Royals Stadium when they had the AstroTurf, and he told me a story about spitting his gum out on the AstroTurf, and here comes this little guy marching over to him with the look of death in his eyes, and he said to this day he's afraid to spit gum on any kind of grass. That was a life-changing moment for him.
Yeah, if you did something to his artificial turf or his real grass, he would come marching toward you, as you well described, and you could just tell that you were in big trouble because he was arriving in ill humor.
2-1 from Volquez to Brett Gardner.
You know, I had heard of George Toma, like everyone in baseball has, but my first year in 2012, when it was a little bit tough adjusting the fans with me in the broadcast booth. In the off season, he wrote me about a 5-page letter. He hand wrote me a letter just to encourage me and to hang in there. And you know, I thought that the world of him after that.
You know, he could grow grass in your sport coat pocket, and he would tell you that, and he would say, yes, I can. And you'd say, no way. He'd say, want to bet? And he would win the bet every time because he'd take a little Ziploc baggie, put some pre-emergent seed in there with a little bit of moisture, close it up, put it in your pocket, and he'd say, in 24 hours, we're going to pull that little baggie out of your pocket, and you're going to see grass. Sure enough, it was sprouts of grass 24 hours later.
That's amazing.
I'll take your $5, thank you.
Great story.
And there he is, by the way, in the first base camera well, just hanging over the railing.
But growing grass in his jacket pocket.
The old saying, which usually is implying something moving very slowly or boring, it's like sitting and watching grass grow. That doesn't apply to him.
No, not at all. Never has.
Looks like he can't wait to get back out there right now with his rake.
People would ask him about his yard. He'd say, "Oh, it looks terrible." He said, "I'm always out here working on this yard."
Dyson into the left field corner.
George, Toma was inducted that first year of yours, Hud, back in 2012 into the Royals Hall of Fame. There you go. Here's the transition from turf to grass.
Nothing to it. Quite a process, huh?
That was under a minute.
Yeah.
Ball 1-2, Alex Rodriguez. He was, I remember for a while he worked at the University of Hawaii, right? And lately has been in Fort Myers. And this probably goes back to his days with the Royals organization. Now Minnesota and Boston have spring training in Fort Myers, and he helps out the Twins in Fort Myers during spring training.
I'll tell you what, the old days at the Municipal Stadium, players from other teams would come in there and just rave about the field conditions. They say, man, we're going from town to town. We love coming to Kansas City to play defense. You'd hear that from almost all the infielders. Never get a bad hop, they'd say.
Denny, what do you think about Eddie Volquez today?
Pretty sharp, isn't he?
Oh, man, his stuff is crisp.
Yes, mixing pitches, and that was pretty apparent from the get-go.
On the ground to Moustakas. And that is 6 scoreless innings for Volquez. So the Royals doing just fine on the mound today. He is not a Royals Hall of Famer, but Charlie Lau is somewhat of a Royals legend. We'll discuss him with Denny when we come back. And this is a name that comes up from time to time on the Royals ballot for Royals Hall of Fame. Charlie Lau and the impact that he had specifically on George Brett, but many hitters when he was hitting coach. Denny, he had 10 absolutes of good hitting, and we're going to look at 4 of them today.
That all comes out of a great book that he and George Brett put together, and there's some marvelous sequence pictures of George Brett, and you can just see how the absolutes, which Charlie highly recommended to a lot of guys, worked out. And the sequence pictures, I was looking at them the other day, were done at Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium. And it's a great book, The Art of Hitting 300.
Low throw, and Teixeira can't handle as Chase Headley just buried it. And Infante is on to begin the 6th inning.
You know, I just said over on radio, it's been a long time, if ever, where I've seen a major league team have such problems throwing the baseball. In the 3 games or 2.5 of this series, they can't throw the ball straight from one guy to the other.
And Headley, his release point was way off on that. That's the second errant throw he's made today. One was trying to complete a double play. Rats.
Yeah, they are really the gang that can't throw straight.
Which comes in handy in baseball.
Normally, especially when you're playing defense.
And now Orlando shows bunt, and he takes high.
How about the throw from the pitcher on the high chopper off the bat of Hosmer? That was a hit and an error, but it was mostly an error.
Yeah, unless he was aiming for the guy in the first row behind the camera bay. Otherwise, you know, that would have been a great throw. But you could just kind of see that. I could see that coming.
Yep.
The way his body was set up. Our Sonic Slam inning contestant is Tim Hughes from Belton. And if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Tim wins $300. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Tim wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Balance, point number 1, the absolute, at least the ones we're covering today, by Charlie Lau. And I think about some of the really, really good hitters. And Miguel Cabrera comes to mind. Even though he doesn't hit now like he used to. Joe Mauer comes to mind. Guys that high average who never seem to be lunging. They never seem to be checking their swing on pitches in the dirt. Never seem to be out of control when it comes to balance in the batter's box, whether they're swinging or they're just taking a pitch.
Sure, and it's such a fundamental thing. And you think about any other sport, and most of us have tried a lot of different sports. How many of those sports can you play reasonably well if you don't have balance? None.
Billy Butler comes to mind. Billy Butler had tremendous balance. Still does. That's drilled into left center field and over Gardner. Infante will be waved home. And Paulo Orlando went about halfway between second and third and could do that because nobody was at second base. So the Royals turn the air into a run. It is 5-0 in the 6th inning.
That's the first hit all year off of Orlando's bat. It was pulled with authority and really nice balance. As we're talking about the Charlie Lau absolutes of good hitting, you got to have the balance. But look at this, a small step forward. His toes were closed in, so he didn't allow his hips to leak open. And he just threw that bat head there. Good head position. Seeing the head down just like that. Charlie loved that head position down.
Yep.
And Infante bringing the mail home from first base, making that air hurt.
That was perfect timing. That was a great example of just good balance equals the good swing.
Well, he wanted to go to third. I think he has triple on his mind every time he puts the ball in play.
I don't know why he didn't. They would have thrown it away.
Now 1 ball, 1 strike on Dyson. Okay, let's check in on a couple more of the absolutes after we take a look at Dyson's day. He's dying for a hit. 0 for 2 today, and now 0 for his last 12. At the minimum here, trying to get something to the right side. And he does. Rogers beats him to the bag, and Orlando goes to third. All right, Denny, let's cover absolutes 3 and 4.
Yeah, he always talked about that weight shift, a good firm backside. Your swing sets up. If your front leg collapses or you collapse at any point, you're not going to get that firm, rigid front side. And that's where you really get your power from. It's like think of a golf swing. Charlie a lot of times would equate the baseball swing with the golf swing, and of course you have that almost exact weight shift in golf from back, and then you start to swing down, and you've set up that rigid front side for a good golf swing.
And you know, Eric Hosmer, he's really found out his front foot this year. He uses that whole, you really got to stride with the front toe closed. You see how that front toe is closed right there? It's closed. That allows him to keep his hits in. Watch it. Watch that front toe is closed, so his hips don't go before they're ready, and it keeps the swing compact.
I love that swing. The thing, and it gets back to the balance part we were talking about. 0-2 on Escobar. I mean, just watch the follow through. I mean, he hits a home run to the opposite field, Denny, and he could have stood there all day. I mean, there was no falling over the plate, leaning backward. I mean, he eventually started moving forward because he had to run, but just nice, easy, and tremendous balance.
Yep.
Beltran will be back on his heels. Well, he doesn't throw like he used to. So the inning begins with an error. The Royals have 2 more runs. And now it's 6-0 KC in the 6th inning. It's kind of surreal watching Beltran throw like that. Denny and I remember Beltran charging, and he would throw, and he'd go into a front somersault. He would put so much into his throws.
I was visiting Carlos before the game, and he told me, I'm going to play 1 more year after this one. He said, I'm going to go back to the island, make my home there, spend time with my family, and spend a lot of time at the academy. He's done great work.
Yes, he has. Justin Wilson is a Chevy call to the bullpen. Headley. Now Mike Moustakas will bat with 2 down and nobody on against Justin Wilson, who appears in this series for the 2nd time. He pitched in game 1. Gave up 2 runs in a 1/3 of an inning.
He's got a nice fastball. Low to mid-90s. He cuts the fastball, curveball, and a changeup. Trying to get ahead of Moose and then break that. Stayed with a fastball. Try to break that breaker away from him. See if he can get Moose off balance.
Oh! 1-2. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wilson comes in and gets a strikeout to end the inning. 2 unearned runs for the Royals in the 6th for a 6-0 lead. Forddealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. The great Kansas City Monarchs. The New York Yankees have the most World Series championships, 27 in Major League history, and the Monarchs were often described as the Yankees of the Negro Leagues.
You guys visited with Bob Kendrick, as we did on the radio side. The Negro Leagues were founded here in Kansas City. Everybody, or a lot of people know that, but do they know why? And I asked Bob Kendrick, and he said, well, originally it was supposed to be in Indianapolis, and there was a big meeting, and that meeting was canceled. And so 3 or 4 weeks later, it was rescheduled, but for Kansas City. So the meeting was there when they formed the Negro Leagues.
So thank you, Indianapolis.
Yeah, I told Bob if they had the museum in Indianapolis, well, it'd be a tough commute for him every day, wouldn't it?
Edinson Volquez now 6 1/3 scoreless innings as he gets Teixeira to fly to the warning track. You know, we were talking about Charlie Lau, and you and I were just discussing in between innings, and one of his absolutes was the weight shift. And his most famous pupil, of course, is George Brett. And if you were going to copy George's stance, I think you would do 2 things. First of all, you'd rest the bat on your back shoulder. And the second thing would be there'd be some sort of backward lean before going forward. Did George have that backward lean prior to Charlie Lau?
I'm going to say no.
That's a fair ball with a broken bat. Orlando plays it off the side wall, and all Brian McCann gets out of that is a single.
Yeah, there was a little slight back move away from the pitcher, just very slight. There you go. See, that's And Charlie called that his trigger mechanism, Brett's trigger mechanism. And he compared it to the golfer Jack Nicklaus. And anybody that's watched Nicklaus, as he sets up and then he has that little slight head turn from left to right, and then he begins to move into the ball. So Charlie wanted George to have that little lead. Just get everything started, get your rhythm, just a little backward and through, rather than starting from a static or stationary position. And I think it also kind of relieves some of the tension, if there was any there, just a little back and forth, just smooth the rhythm, get it all going. It's pretty to watch.
Tell the story about where George had his hands and how Charlie Lau influenced that.
Yeah, when George came up, he loved Carl Yastrzemski, and Yaz, if you'll think back, or you've seen pictures or video, Yaz held his hands and the bat way up high, but he always would drop his hands into a position where George eventually started. And Charlie said to George, well, I know you like Yaz, but why do you have your hands way up high? Where do your hands have to get to before you can really hit? And George thought about it for a couple of minutes, and he was moving his hands around. He finally put his hands in the position where everybody has seen Brett when he sets up ready to hit a pitch. And Charlie said, well, I've got an idea. If we have to get here to hit successfully, why don't we start here? And so you see the pictures of Brett with the hands just off of his left shoulder.
3-1 to Beltran.
And by the way, Yaz did pretty well.
You had a little brush with Charlie Lau, you were sharing.
I did. After he left the Royals, he went to the Yankees for 3 or 4 years, and I was just a young prospect at the time, but they had me in the cage working with him, and I was amazed at how calm he was. Very calm. Yeah, that ball's going to be caught. Very, very soft-spoken. And he was trying to teach me the weight shift, and I had a hard time with the weight shift because he also stressed hitting off that front side. And it was quite an adjustment for me. I was just a young player coming out of high school, so really didn't have a whole lot of instruction. But I just liked the way he talked, his demeanor, you know, his voice. He was real calm, and you listened to him, you know. I was listening to him like a school boy, you know, being taught by a master. And just the way he delivered it. Now, it never worked out for me because Lou Piniella was the hitting coach for the Yankees then, and he was a big disciple of Lau's, and he hit that way, and he wanted all of his hitters to hit that way, and I had a hard time adjusting, so they traded me. They sent me packing. But I just loved his demeanor.
There was a hitting coach for Houston named Harry Walker, who was a great hitter in his playing days.
Harry the Hat.
Harry the Hat. He wanted John Mayberry to hit like he did, basically singles. And Sean was not a singles hitter. And once he was traded from Houston to the Royals, he hit the way he wanted to, and it turned out pretty well.
101 pitches and 7 scoreless innings for Edinson Volquez. Thank you, Denny.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, partner.
Enjoy the rest of the game.
I'll do it. You too.
all over Minnesota. Texas on top of Carlos Carrasco in Cleveland early on. White Sox ahead of Oakland as Jeff Samardzija returns to the Bay Area. Detroit and St. Louis tonight. Next up for the Royals, the Cincinnati Reds. Brandon Phillips and company will be heading here for a quick 2 games Tuesday and Wednesday. And right now they are losing to the Giants 9-7. One other score, Ryan, I wanted to mention to you. April 20th, 2012, the Red Sox beat the Yankees that day 6-2. I mention it because that was the 100th anniversary of Fenway Park. The Yankees that day wore throwback uniforms to honor the first ever game played at Fenway between the Red Sox and New York Highlanders. That game in 1912 was won 7-6 over the Highlanders in 11 innings.
You were almost a Highlander.
Wow, how about that?
How about this matchup? Johnny Cueto and Yordano Ventura, Tuesday night. 6:30 with Ivy Royals live. The first pitch is 7:10. Cincinnati Reds here for a 2-game series. Wednesday, Jeremy Guthrie and Jason Marquis. Chasen Shreve is the Yankees' new pitcher, on for the 11th time this year. Royals have Kane, Hosmer, and Morales coming up. And Garrett Jones takes over at first base. Now the Yankees have 9 outs to go, or rather 6 outs to go on offense. They've overcome 6-run deficits before, but they see Wade Davis warming up in the bullpen, and Joe Girardi said, you know what, maybe I'll give Mark Teixeira the rest of the game off.
Good idea. Perfect timing. And, you know, Girardi has to be able to take care of his veterans. He's got to be able to pick the days to rest them and pick the spots, because, you know, he wants them for the long haul. And they want any of them to break down.
The wind is picked up again and giving our camera out in center field a hard time. The wind has shifted 2 or 3 different times today. After every pitch, guys out there wiping off the lenses, so that's why we're going to give you this angle periodically. The water from the Water Spectacular comes up out of the ground because of the wind and sprays all those lenses, so the cameras are covered, but the lenses need to be wiped down after every pitch.
Way to work it, fellas. Yeah, there's no day off up there.
Kelly Myers, Morgan Kramer working out there, the 2 guys in the middle. Morgan asking our director Steve Kurtenbach along the lines of what you just said. You know, Morgan's a veteran, so can he have the rest of the day off? That's right, Morgan. Center field. Ellsbury was fooled by the wind, and I mentioned that it has shifted. And for most of the game, it has been blowing from right to left. So that ball would have been knocked down into a crosswind. But while the flags aren't flapping a whole lot right now, the direction is now more toward out right center field, and it grabbed that ball.
That's right. The outfielder, he's going to go on what he sees. And he saw Lorenzo Cain off balance reaching for that. So he thought it was going to be a ball that was a lot more shallow. But sometimes it'll trick you. It's because the hitter's off balance. Doesn't mean he doesn't barrel it up. So the visual and also the sound is what outfielders go on.
One and one to Eric Hosmer. He lost a 12-game hitting streak last night. And now today has a new hit streak, an infield single, a walk, and a run scored. Chasen Shreve. See if this school rings a bell. And if it doesn't, it's not a well-known school, with one exception. Junior College of Southern Nevada. That ring a bell for anybody? 2-2 on Hosmer.
I've heard of Nevada.
Well, that's good, Hud. You know that it's a state too. You know that, right?
That's right.
Okay. Junior College of Southern Nevada, or Nevada. That was the junior college that Bryce Harper played for. Remember, he graduated at a very young age and then went to junior college so that he could be drafted at a very young age, first overall by the Washington Nationals. And he and Chasen Shreve were teammates at Junior College of Southern Nevada. And Chasen and Bryce Harper have known each other since high school, and Chasen Shreve, one of many players on that team and in that league that were discovered by professional scouts because there were so many there to watch Bryce Harper. Beltran comes over from right and makes the play on Kendrys Morales, and Chasen Shreve gets the Royals in order in the bottom of the 7th. Been a great day. There was a brunch that was well attended before the game, which benefited the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Big crowd watching. We've had 3 very good crowds for the Royals Yankees series. Had Bob Kendrick up here in the booth, spent some time visiting with Denny Matthews, and the Royals lead 6-0. Wade Davis will come on in the top of the 6th inning. This is the deciding game of the series. The Royals are 3-2 in deciding games this year. You know, they were 12-3 last year in deciding games, the so-called rubber games. Getting closer and closer to improving that mark to 4-2. Wade Davis throws a strike to Stephen Drew. He is 0 for 2 so far today, and Wade Davis on for the 17th time. He has pitched 16 scoreless innings to begin the year.
As good as there are anywhere else, and even in matches, what Betances and Miller are doing. Those 2 guys in the back end of the Yankee pen. So we've got to get these guys some work. Got an off day tomorrow. Davis in there to get that fastball, stretch it out a little bit. 95 to 97. He'll cut it at about 93. Big overhand curve.
Very close.
But I like what Joe Girardi told me yesterday when I asked him, what's the difference that you see across the diamond over there in that Royals dugout? What's the difference you see from last year to this year? And he says, they know they can play.
As opposed to years past when they believed that they can, and play being another word for win, compete, contend, perform. Yeah, against the best.
They know they can.
Wade Davis gets his 17th strikeout of the year. Stephen Drew is 0 for 3. Fox Sports Kansas City invites you to join current and former Royals players right here on the field. July 23rd for Diamond of Dreams. You'll enjoy a menu from local restaurants, live music, and a fireworks show. It's all for charity. Buy tickets now at Royals.com/Diamond of Dreams. It's a great event, a chance to walk around Kauffman Stadium, and a chance to mingle with members of the Royals organization, members of the roster. Great food, live entertainment. If you haven't been to Diamond of Dreams before, do yourself a favor and come out and enjoy that evening on July 23rd. And again, it's all for charity.
And you get to walk on the field. They have a fireworks show afterwards. It's a lot of fun. Different, very different.
I think you can run the bases too if you want to,
if
right?
you want.
Two and one on Didi Gregorius. Sir Didi Gregorius. He is knighted.
Interesting.
Born in the Netherlands and then moved to the island of Curacao at a young age. One of his good buddies growing up is Andrelton Simmons, flashy shortstop for the Atlanta Braves. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I had a chance to talk to him, and he told me when I asked him, what's it like taking over for a legend? And he says, you don't take over for him. He's a legend. I'm coming in, a chance to play. I relish that opportunity, but never once did it put pressure on me to feel like I was filling Derek Jeter's shoes. He said the hardest thing for him this year is so far to get to know the pitching in the American League, as he was with the Diamondbacks the last couple of seasons.
For Wade Davis, that is just the 3rd walk he's allowed all year. 1 on, 1 out. And Jacoby Ellsbury comes to the plate for the 4th time. Jacoby Ellsbury, when this series began, was a .370 hitter against the Royals. That is the highest average of any current player against the Royals, with a minimum of 150 plate appearances. And yet in this series, he is 0 for 9.
Hard to do, or hard to get him out. He does so many things well. He stays inside the ball, uses the whole field, and he's got excellent speed. In case he doesn't hit it the way he wants to, he can beat it out, and then he's a real threat on the bases. So it's been really good for the Royals to be able to keep him off like they have. I feel good about that.
Davis jumps ahead 1-2.
But they'll feel even better. They get this series here.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Just missed. By the way, that walk by Wade Davis is the first walk that the Yankees have received today. Edinson Volquez pitched 7 innings. He gave up 3 hits, no walks. Just the second time in his career he's gone as many as 7 innings without a single walk.
Wow. He's been around a long time. You could tell his stuff was excellent. Oh, man.
He's not missing by much. And the Yankees have 2 on with 1 out. Remember, the Monarchs jerseys that the Royals are wearing will be available for auction, game worn and autographed by the player, and you can bid online between now and May 26th. Just go to Royals.com/NLBM for the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, and all the proceeds will benefit the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Both teams wearing that patch with the number 28 on it. That was Ernie Banks' number when he played for the Monarchs in 1950 and 1953, and as Bob Kendrick was sharing with us earlier today, that would have been Ernie Banks' last year before going to the Cubs, 1953. There's a strike to Brett Gardner. Ernie Banks passed away in January of this year. And now no balls, 2 strikes. Brett Gardner is 1 for 8 in this series. So the top 2 hitters, and they're the engine that gets the Yankees going. They are a combined 1 for 17. Jacoby Ellsbury and Brett Gardner.
Fantastic job by Dave Island's pitchers. And of course, Salvador Perez, who directs them all. They have meetings before each series starts, and they go over each hitter. And what impresses Dave Island the most about all those meetings is the way Salvador Perez can retain the game plan from 1 through 9 innings and for a 3-game series.
Still 1-2. Slash foul. Royals have tomorrow off and then be in that series on Tuesday with Cincinnati. The Yankees will fly to Washington after the game today. They're on a 9-game road trip. This is the middle city of a 9-game road trip, and they're on a grueling stretch right now, the tail end of it. 25 out of 35 games on the road. Long at bat, long battle between Gardner and Davis. Still 1-2. Yankees are 2-4 on this trip, on their way to 2-5. They dropped 3 out of 4 in St. Petersburg and have split the first 2 games in Kansas City. Royals on their next road trip will be going to New York. Back to Davis. It's off of his glove, and Davis has to run it down. And the Yankees, down by 6, have the bases loaded with 1 out. That's a base hit for Gardner. And now the middle of the order coming up.
Davis will tell you he could have made this play if they did it again. He'd make it 10 out of 10 times, but he just wasn't ready. It's like it's a changeup it threw him. It bounced, and then he's waiting for it, and it just got off the end of his glove. It's been 3 days since he's been out there. He's kind of working through some things and getting some pitching going here, but Dave Island's going to try to let him catch his breath after sprinting after that ball. I bet Dave Island didn't really care for him sprinting after that ball like that, because that's how sometimes you pull a muscle or something like that, you know, on a play like that with a 6-run lead. But still, it's hard to take the competitiveness out of you.
That is a major league record, 24 grand slams for Alex Rodriguez.
Man.
After the first pitch, a fastball at 97.
And there was some question coming into the season about Alex for a lot of different things, but one of them was, would he be able to turn on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball? Could he, at his age, be able to catch up to it? And he's answered that. He was right on that Davis offering. See how he starts. He starts with his bat on his shoulder, and then he just picks it up. Ooh. There's the equalizer there.
Jelly legger.
Yeah. That's a beautiful pitch. But if you watch Alex, he doesn't have a whole lot of movement either. He starts out with that bat on his shoulder like George Brett did. Comfortable hitting position, hands in a spot. Watch his hands too, wiggling on the bat. See how loose they are. No tension. So you can react quicker.
Second strikeout for Davis. And the crowd loves that. 2 down in the 8th inning.
Had him on his heels, especially after that curveball. He puts his little cutter on that one. He had no chance.
In the last half inning, Joe Girardi took Mark Teixeira out and replaced him at first base with Garrett Jones. So it's Jones, not Teixeira, batting with the bases loaded, 2 down. And he hits a slow roller out to Hosmer. Davis covers, and that's the inning. The Yankees leave the bases loaded. And the Royals have held the Yankees scoreless for 8 innings. Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Oh, and Salvi's been so good leading off innings this year. But how about that one? A homer. He reached out and touched him, got up underneath it. 1-0 Royals. Yeah, Salvi, we love you too. What a beautiful day. Found another hole there as he is hitting 400 with runners in scoring position. Just add to that number right there. Salvador Perez driving the bus for the Royals this afternoon.
Facing Chasen Shreve, who came on in the 7th inning. Got the Royals 1, 2, 3. Perez, Infante, and Orlando in the bottom of the 8th. Two and 0. Royals scored 4 runs off of Chris Capuano, who was making his season debut. Capuano went 3 innings, and the Royals scored 2 unearned runs off of Esmail Rogers. He went 2 2/3 innings, and then Wilson got 1 out. And now the 2nd inning for Shreve. Remember to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. rallyhouse.com/Royals. Two and 2. Crowd of over 31,000 here today. Royals in this 3-game series attracting 34,000, just under 32,000, and 31,000.
Gotta love that. These fans, they know good baseball when they see it. Pitching, hitting, and defense. When you get all 3 of those going at the same time, you end up winning. Consistency. Every manager strives for that, but it doesn't always happen. Ned Yost has been really good this year with his 3 areas. Pitching, hitting, and defense. Timely hits.
Beltran to the line. 1 down in the 8th inning. You know, we're well aware that it has been a great season as far as attendance goes for the Royals, but do you know the Royals are 6th in the American League in attendance?
Really?
They're averaging 31,000 per game. And the teams in front of the Royals: Boston, Seattle, Detroit, Los Angeles, as in the Angels, and the Yankees. 6th in the American League in attendance.
Way to go, folks.
Fouled away by Infante. We just found out that Mark Teixeira came out for a reason. It was not just to allow a veteran to take the rest of the day off, but he was hit by Edison Volquez back in the 4th inning. So Joe Girardi took him out with a contusion to his left big toe, which ended up being a big play because it was Garrett Jones, not Mark Teixeira, coming up with the bases loaded for the Yankees in the top of the 8th inning, down 6-0. Excuse me, right big toe, not left big toe. And now Infante is down on strikes, and Chasen Shreve has retired the first 5 he has faced. Let's go back to the 4th inning. Here's the pitch that nailed Teixeira.
Looked like Volquez slipped off the mound a little bit. By no means was that intentional, but I'll tell you what, your feet, you got to have those. But Teixeira, he didn't like it.
Ball 1 to Paulo Orlando.
You know, that owie he's got on his right foot now, that'll last for 2 weeks. That'll be something that'll have to, you know, get through that. I mean, the aches and pains that baseball players go through day to day, and to show up and play, I mean, you're not 100% most of the time, especially by the end of the season. Midway, everyone's dealing with something.
Owie?
Well, you have little boys.
Yeah, I was thinking that should be something I would say,
well,
not you. You have older kids.
They're a little older, but still, I can't help it. That's something a dad would say to his kids.
Two and one to Paulo Orlando. No swing, 3 and 1.
Mentioned Royals off tomorrow and Thursday. 2 rare days off in a week. Hardly ever happens. At home, it's even better.
Playable for Ellsbury. And that's 2 scoreless innings for Chasen Shreve. To the 9th inning, the Royals are 3 outs away from taking the series. Jason Frazier coming in. Seven of those by Edison Volquez. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Rex Hudler and Joe Goldberg. No Jeff Montgomery today. He and his wife Tina are celebrating the graduation of their daughter Katie, so we'll see Monty on Tuesday. With producer Joe Lavero, director Steve Kurtenbach, our associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, Dave Holtzman, and the producer of Royals Live is Brian Shapiro, along with the rest of our great Fox Sports Kansas City crew. Royals 3 outs away from winning another series and getting back to 10 games above 500. Jason Frazier will pitch to Brian McCann, Carlos Beltran, and Chase Headley. Royals got 7 excellent innings from Edinson Volquez, giving up just 3 hits, no walks.
I mean, the line is great, but his stuff was even better. Best I've seen it all year so far. You agree with that?
Absolutely.
Oh, unhittable.
Pass Frazier. Diving stop Moustakas, and he throws out McCann. Over on the right side of second base. 5-3 is how you score it.
Who says Moose couldn't play second? Nobody. He could play anywhere. Look at this, getting dirty for Frazier.
Well, you know, that came up last year when Omar Infante went on the disabled list. You know, who would the Royals use as a backup at second base? And Ned Yost made it very clear that he figured Mike Moustakas could play there. Mike Moustakas was a good high school shortstop. And now Hosmer has it go off of his glove. Carlos Beltran, with 1 down, will extend his hitting streak to 9 games with a double.
Great effort just off the end.
Ball 1 to Chase Headley. He is 1 for 3 with a 5th inning single. Yankees had just 5 hits today against Volquez, Davis, and Frazier. And only 2 of those for extra bases, both doubles. Beltran in this inning. Rodriguez back in the 4th. They have had some scoring opportunities. The Royals haven't completely shut down the Yankees today. They have left 7 runners on base. Volquez started by retiring the first 11. Yankees had a chance with 1 good swing of the bat in the 8th inning to get back into this game. They had the bases loaded with 1 out, but Wade Davis struck out Alex Rodriguez and got Garrett Jones, who was batting for Teixeira, to ground out to first. And that'll be through the right side. Beltran will hold at third. It's a 2-hit game for Headley. The Royals and the Rangers are the only 2 teams in the American League that have not shut out their opponent. And the Yankees are trying to extend that with a runner at third base and 1 out.
That's a little bit surprising. But you know, the numbers are what they are, but still the best numbers you can have is being in first place. Coming in tied with the Tigers today, the Kansas City Royals, 23-14. Double play ball is in order. Frazier can execute the pitch.
Strike to Stephen Drew. Yankees second baseman today is 0 for 3. Line to left field. Dyson makes the play. Beltran has nowhere to go. 2 down in the 9th inning.
Dyson had him played perfectly. I don't even think Gerard himself could have tagged from third and scored on that one. See Beltran, there he is. He's going back to tag. He was in good position, but no chance. Appreciate you folks coming to the ballpark, supporting the Negro League Museum, dressed to the nines, looking good. Thank you.
31,251 here today. There's a good looking hat. Didi Gregorius with Beltran at third and Headley at first. Headley takes off. The Royals will allow him to. No stolen base. 1-0 on Gregorius. Royals have had a really bad time against the Yankees lately. They won the season series last year. That was the first time in 15 years they won a season series. And they've only won one series against the Yankees in Kansas City in the last 9 years. 2 balls and no strikes.
Game 1. Oh man, what an offensive explosion the Royals did. Especially 6 runs in the 6th inning. Man, they took the Yankees right out of it. Yesterday it was CC Sabathia who really mixed up his pitches and kept the Royals' hot offense at bay.
2-1.
And then Volquez came out and said, you know, it's time for me to step up and show you what I can do. Gotta love it.
Two and two. Left center field, Kane. He's got it to end the game. And even though Frazier's been a Royal for a while, he still can't believe what the Royals have done defensively. And Lorenzo Cain puts the finishing touches on the Royals' first shutout of the year as they beat the Yankees 6-0 and take the series 2-1.
Looked like that ball was going to fall in. And, you know, Gerard Dyson, his glove fell off. Look at his glove in left field. I don't know how Dyson would have helped him make that play with bare hands, but Lorenzo Cain, long strides, he's able to come in with no problem. And Gerard Dyson ran after that ball with no glove. Look at Frazier going, whoa, whew, thank you. Oh, I didn't want that to be on him. I don't know what happened with Dyson's glove.
The Royals are now 13-6 at Kauffman Stadium. That's the second best home record in the American League. Salvador Perez leading the charge today. He hit a home run in the second inning, his 5th of the year, and then drove in another run in the 4th.
He was great. I mean, to tell you, Salvi, you know, hitting down in the order, that has him in that 6th and 7th spot. I'll tell you, he's picking up a lot of RBIs, especially with 2 outs and leading off an inning. I mean, Salvi, he is really finding the holes.
Salvi standing by with Joel down in the field.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. And Salvador Perez, a very big day. We'll talk about the offense in a moment, but we need to start with your pitcher, Edinson Volquez. 7 shutout innings, one of the best performances, maybe the best by a starter this year. What made him so good?
The first thing I want to say thank you for the fan, thank you for the support every day here. Thank you, guys.
Second best home record in the American League and averaging over 31,000 fans a game. They saw Volquez. What did you see?
Volquez pretty aggressive today. He pounded the side, the try zone. He keep the ball down. You know, he aggressive. He get ahead in the count. He not throw too many balls, and that's why he good today.
All right, so Volquez was dominant out there, and then the offense, big today, big on Friday night. But tell me about that home run. What were you looking for against Capuano?
He like to throw a lot of speed, and he leave a change up, and I hit it pretty good.
How do you guys look in these Monarchs uniforms?
Great.
Especially with the win. All right, last question for you, Salvi. There's no one over there. Are they scared of you? No water.
That's my job.
It's your job. So no one's going to come and take that job from you. Last thing, you've only lost 2 in a row, 1 time this year. How have you been able to bounce back so well after losses?
Aggressive. Every day is a new day. We come into the cage and try to win the game, you know, and continue aggressive.
Great job today. Enjoy the off day tomorrow. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Thank you.
All-star catcher Salvador Perez. Ryan, we've got Boulevard Royals Live coming up. That's sort of the version of HUD's every day is a day. Every day is a new day.
That's right. And for the Royals, they have won 8 series this year. You can't have good pitching without good defense. And the Royals' first shutout ends with this sliding play by Lorenzo Cain.